Hello everyone, happy Friday and welcome to their class.
Today we are knitting.
Knitting. Have you ever knitted before? Because I have not.
This is a very beginner-friendly class. We'll start from the way basics,
Super beginner.
doing a slip knot, casting on,
That
then
sounds
we'll
hard.
get knitting. No, it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
If you've seen our crochet class, that was a little while ago, I struggled. I struggled with that one. But that's okay. We're going to try something new today, and I hope you can join us and either watch live or watch later.
The cool thing with this is I'm teaching Rachel,
Yes.
and so it's hopefully at a good speed for other beginners
Yes.
out there that are watching.
So, like, if you've never tried it before,
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start with some nice yarn. I don't know, like this color.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is the right
Yeah, it's good.
thickness.
It's good yarn. So I picked a little bit chunkier of yarn. Just so one, I think it'd be easier to see on video, and two, I don't want too thin of yarn when beginning. I feel like it just adds a little extra complicated that you don't
We
really
don't need any extra complicated anything.
When you're just starting to work with the needles and the yarn, it's easier if you have a little bit of yarn that you can hold on to.
Yes.
And so all you need to get started knitting is a ball of yarn. And so the ball of yarn doesn't have like all the little, some yarns have like pieces coming off of it or little frayed areas. When you're just beginning, you want
regular
just like
yarn.
simple yarn.
Are there different types of yarn? Like,
Yeah, there's like
what are they called?
worsted yarn.
Yeah, what does that mean?
This one's like chunky.
Chunky.
Yeah, this one's just chunky.
Get some chunky yarn. Pick a
so-
color you like.
Yeah, it changes on how, like this yarn, this is a lot thinner. This is worsted yarn. It's got like 5 or 6 pieces woven together. Where these chunky ones have, it looks like 2 pieces woven together and they're like a little bit thicker. But like I was saying, just pick a yarn that doesn't have a lot of like flyaway pieces on it. Just like a simple string. And then on your yarn packet, there is a little guide, and it will tell you what size they recommend for your needles. So there's I'll switch it over here. So here, this is bulky, so it's a number 5 weight, and it says it needs 10, size 10 knitting needles. Here there's also the picture for crochet hook, but we're just going to focus on the knitting. This is size 10. I'd say, and you can work with needles within a range of that if you want it a little more tightly knit. Go for a little smaller size. If you want it a little looser, go a little bit bigger. So if they recommend a 10, I'd say you can pick anything from like 8 to 12.
Okay.
And that's a good range.
Okay. So we have an 8.
Yep. So we have an 8.
This is from just Clover. These are wooden Takumi bamboo knitting needles.
I personally really like the wood
You like
needles.
wooden better than metal?
They're a little less clingy.
Oh.
Like the metal ones just make a lot of noise. And when you're doing this, I'm usually like watching TV or something else while I'm knitting, so I don't want a lot of noise.
Okay.
And
So
that's just
noise is a factor.
yeah. But
What
either
are they like
works
the same, like holding it? Like that's
Yep.
That's
Yeah, it's the same way to
Same
use
feel.
it. Same, yeah. For me, it's just the sound.
Okay. I like
Alright.
these. I like how they feel.
Yeah, and they feel nice. They're bamboo and they're pretty sturdy. I've never broken a pair. I've definitely sat on them and dogs chewed on them,
wouldn't.
but I've still
I've never broken?
never broken a pair. So
Okay.
they're pretty sturdy.
Awesome. All right.
So
How do we start?
we're going to start with the slip knot. So I don't know if you remember our slip knot from
I do remember that I
Crocheting.
couldn't do it.
but we just
Maybe I can
will
do it now.
Take our piece. I like to hold it like this.
Start again. Where? Okay.
So I've just got like a little loop happening.
Okay, loop.
And then I'll flip it over.
Flip it over.
And I like to have it so I've got like a pincher in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll grab this piece.
Wait, this piece?
Yep.
On the top?
And then pull it through.
Pull it. Nope.
We've got this. Got our
Made
yarn.
my loop.
Flip.
Flip my loop over.
And then grab this
This?
tail. Yep.
This shorter tail?
Yep. And let it just slide through. So
Something's wrong.
and then you flipped it.
Oh, I flipped it the wrong way.
Oh, that could be.
That could be it.
And then pull it through.
Pull this through?
No, pull this one.
Oh, you're pulling the... You told me the shorter one.
It doesn't really matter whether you just... So I'm pulling... This one is the one that's on top. I'm pulling the one that's underneath. So I'm pulling this one.
I did it. Right?
Yay.
Is that it?
Yeah.
You guys, I did it.
So to see one more time.
I'll do it again. Yeah.
So here, I've got it like this. I'm giving it a twist and then pulling from this bottom one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, and then you can put that on your needle.
All right. And then tighten it.
And then tighten it on your needle. I never want to keep anything like super tight on the needle.
Okay.
But so it's just snug and it's not going to easily fall off.
Okay.
Like it just stays on the needle there.
So like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you want it at the point of your needle. And if I'm right-handed,
Me
you're
too.
right-handed.
Yep, that
So
works
that makes
out
that
good.
easier. So you're going to hold this in your left hand
Oh.
and then put your needle inside of this loop. So see, I just put it in the loop,
In your slip knot loop?
in my slip knot loop.
Okay.
And I make like a X in the, so you want your needle on the right hand to be in the back.
Okay.
Then I'm going to take my working yarn. The working yarn is the side that is connected to the ball. You don't want to use your tail. You want to use your working yarn.
Okay.
And loop it over. Yep, just loop it over. You could loop it over either way, however you feel
Okay.
comfortable. And you're going to slide it through.
Slide what through?
So we're here. We're going to slide this through.
Slide what? Sliding my right?
Yep. Under. Yep. And then that's your second stitch. So then I'm going to put it on this needle. And now I've got 2 stitches. Okay, so you've got something trapped.
I only did what you told me.
So we're going to put this needle through here.
Yep. That. And I wrap this
Wrap it around.
the big working side.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this
Pull
is
it.
where you get me lost.
Pull it through. And now you've
Oh.
got your stitch that you put back onto your left side needle. Yeah, so there's your second
Oh my
cast
goodness.
on stitch.
Look at that. I made a stitch.
Mine came off my needle. So I gotta redo it.
Don't know if I could do that again, but
But we're gonna.
okay, so then
And so you keep doing this
I go back in.
yep. So then you just go in your last one.
Oh.
So you don't go in both of them.
My last little stitch I made. Okay. And I'm staying in the back
Yeah.
and I loop around with my working yarn. And then this is the part that confuses me. I go around this way
I'm pulling it through here.
through this stitch.
I'm more so right now I'm going like I have this needle through this piece and I'm just pulling it right back out. I'm not looping anything. I'm just pulling it back out.
Out of here?
So
No.
I go in. So this is 1st
I'm
step.
in.
I'm
I'm
in.
around.
I wrap around. I come down. And there it is. And I put it back.
There it is. Where? This is hard, guys.
Okay.
Here. There it is. Where?
Pull it out.
If you are just joining, I am learning how to knit.
Okay.
I'm doing really great.
You're doing good. You got 2.
Got 2 stitches. Okay.
So
I start
stick it in.
into my previous stitch here. I'm on the
So
underneath.
if you can see from this side, you're not getting your whole yarn. So you want to make sure you want to get that whole piece of yarn. Otherwise, you're going to get some tangles.
Am I getting it now?
Yep, that's better.
Okay, and I'm behind, and then I wrap this guy around, and then I come over here, and this is where I don't know what to do.
Now we're going to take this and pull it through like that.
Oh.
And now you can put that back up on your needle. There.
Sure. Sure. Okay. We're just gonna keep going.
Okay.
All right. Any other beginners out there? Let us know if this looks really hard for you. It's hard for me.
So you stick it
So I'm
in.
going in my previous stitch around the back. I am wrapping my longer working yarn around. Then this is where I get lost. And I bring it back over here. And I'm going through here.
Yep. Oh!
Did I just do that?
did
Yes, I
it.
did.
And then
then
you put
I
it back
put
up
it
there.
back up there.
There you go.
And then do you just like
And
let
then-
go every time
Yep.
and tighten it?
Yep. Really, when I get going, I'll kind of leave this one a little bit loose and not tighten it yet.
Oh, because you have to
And
go
then
back in it.
then I'll go back in and then I'll tighten around here a little bit. So then it's a
Okay.
good.
So I shouldn't have
amount.
tightened it, but look at those stitches.
But it looks, like that's how you want it to look, like it's tightened.
Okay. So I'm going through my last stitch in the back, wrapping around my working yarn, bringing it back around this side. Oh yeah, this is too tight.
And
I'm like tucking this under this,
Yep.
this, except that I lost it.
so now you're not underneath that one. So I'd just
Yeah.
redo that stitch.
Okay.
Yep. Round.
Wrap around.
Pull it through. Put it on top. There it is.
Roll it through.
And so yeah. So you should be getting, it looks kind of like a braid.
I'm
At
like
the
too
base here?
tight. Too tight.
Yeah.
There. Did I do it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so I would just do it a little looser.
Yeah, because that's hard to get in there.
Yeah. You never want to be so tight on your needle that it can't easily. So like I was saying, it won't, like my yarn isn't falling off of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I can easily move it around.
Okay. I can make what can I make? A pencil cover.
A pencil cover. I always say begin with like a dishcloth.
Dishcloth.
Dishcloth's
Okay.
just easy because it's a square. It's not too big of a project. If you're feeling more than a dishcloth, I say do a scarf because there's nothing fancy. It's just making a long rectangle.
Okay. So I'm trying to like loosen that last one. What's going on here? Okay. So, going in. It's still, how can I loosen that more?
I would just pop it off.
Oh, I can't loosen it?
It looks like there might have been some other issues with it. So, yeah, let's just undo that one.
Oh, goodness me. I thought I did good. Okay. Going through my previous stitch. Around the back. Wrap around my working yarn. Come around this way and bringing it under there. And then putting it on my other needle. Like that.
So, yep. And then I'd just not tighten it. And also, it looks like your problem is you're not grabbing your whole yarn. So, and actually, you're taking away stitches.
What?
Let's switch you to using this yarn.
Okay.
I think that one might...
Too advanced.
Yeah. I was thinking the fluffy would be good because it's bigger and you can see it, but it's separating a little bit. So I'll get you started.
Good
Here's
to
your
know.
slip knot. So yeah, some worsted yarn is never a bad choice.
Okay. So let's start again. Through my loop, staying in the back. Wrapping around. Get rid of this tail in the way. What do you do with your tail? You just
I just leave it there until the end of my project and then I'll weave it in. So take like a blunt eye needle and I'll just weave it into my project.
Okay. So now I'm here and I take this underneath this loop.
Yep.
And that's my stitch.
Yep. You're just very loose.
Why am I so loose? I'm having the opposite problem.
It's a little easier to work too loose than too tight, though.
Okay. There.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Can you guys see that okay? Okay. So, starting from my previous stitch, wrapping around. See, I find my tail is getting in the way. Bringing it over here, through that loop, and back on this needle. Does that look okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So why can I get this but not crochet?
I don't know. Well, maybe you're just... Maybe you think it's easier. Maybe it's... I don't know. I kind of feel like casting on is even a little trickier than just the regular knitting because there's like the extra step of sliding it off the needle. If you can cast on, you can knit.
This is casting on?
Yep.
Oh.
So that means we are adding the amount of stitches that we want to work with. Okay. So a lot of times, like if you're reading a pattern, the pattern will say cast on or CO and then a number.
Oh.
So
CO.
So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Wow.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 18. Maybe I'll just do 20.
Oh.
Just to keep it nice and even.
I got 5. Look at those 5.
I'd say make it to like 10 and then we can start second row.
Okay. Now this one looks a little bit thinner. Did I?
Yeah, so you didn't grab the whole yarn. So I would release it.
How does that happen?
So most yarn is made up of, like I'll untwist it a little bit here, of multiple strands.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're grabbing all of the
them.
strands.
Okay. Yep.
Here, I'll untwist this. So this has 5 strands.
I think I'm like
see that?
losing it when I go back through here. I think that's where I lose it or something.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm grabbing it at the beginning. And then I lose it, so... Okay, there. I mean, I'm not straight or anything,
No,
but hey,
that looks good. Yep.
not too shabby for learning.
Yep.
Very first time here. Any other beginners, please comment. Make me feel better.
So, I mean, like anything, knitting is something that the more you do it, the better you get.
Right.
Usually the first project you make is not going to be your favorite.
yeah.
So, like, just keep that in mind. Your first project, you likely don't want it.
You likely just don't want
You
it.
can always undo it by just sliding it off your needle
Oh.
and pulling the yarn. And that's also a good way to see like how well you knitted.
Oh.
If you can smoothly unrip it all
Oh.
and it doesn't snag, that means like you did a good job.
Oh.
If it keeps knotting and snagging on things, then you're either not grabbing the full yarn or you're jumping over things.
You're just not doing great.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened here.
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
Just keep it going.
Which one am I going through?
This
then?
one.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, see, it just kind of looks like that
Oh.
on that last one because it's still going under the previous stitch. Just because it makes like a little V right here.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's fine. You just keep working off of this one if you wanted to keep adding on.
Okay.
Yay.
How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna
8.
I'm gonna do 10.
Okay. That's a good goal.
We're gonna do 10. We're casting on 10. Is that what you say?
Yeah. Yep.
Around here. And I feel like
So yeah,
something's wrong
so
here.
then let it go. Just
Something's
let it go before
wrong.
something tangles. Yeah, you just didn't grab the full yarn.
Why does that keep happening to me? Okay.
There.
Tricky. I think it happens right here. Okay. There we go.
And one more.
I'm a knitter now.
Yeah. So far, do you think knitting's easier than crochet?
I had a really hard time with crochet. Like,
See, I usually think crocheting is easier because it's just like if you lose any of these off of your needle, you gotta either find it or start over.
okay.
Where there's not a problem if you take your crochet hook off of your work. All right, so now ready for the second row.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep this all in my left hand and take this needle and go kind of how we just were doing. So you
Okay,
set
so
it
you go
up pretty
through-
much the same way.
Go through the last stitch you just did.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's the same setup. So we're
Okay,
going to
go
wrap this around, pull it through. But this time, instead of taking this and putting it up here, we're going to slide this off of the needle. So slide,
This?
yep, that one. So slide the one that's on your left needle off of the needle.
Okay.
And that's your first stitch.
Ooh.
So go again, stick it in.
This seems weird.
No, you're good. It's just really loose. I just tighten that in a little bit.
Oh.
So
So
here,
then from
you
here,
stick
what do
it
you
in.
do? You just let
Stick
go?
it in here. Nope, you want to keep this on
Keep
this
this
hook,
on.
on this needle.
And now I go to the second one?
Now we're going to the second one. So you stick it in. So I'm just grabbing this front part and sliding it to the back.
This part?
Yep. Sliding it to the back. Wrap around. Then slide through. And push it off the needle. Yep. And then
Well,
push.
right.
Did you push off?
I don't know.
Well, let's see. You can always go back and count. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you're good.
Doesn't look right though. Though I guess I
I
don't
think
know
it's
what
just-
it's supposed to look like.
I think it's just looking looser because this is smaller yarn.
Okay. So every time you're just gonna go through that top loop,
Go through the top loop,
wrap
around,
come
pull
back through that,
through,
and then
slide it off.
slide it off.
Oh, let's see.
Tighten a little.
Here we are. Through here. Wrap around. Slide through. Push it off.
Does that look right?
So I think also you're holding your needles really far apart.
Oh.
So that could help be like stretching out the yarn a bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm keeping my needles pretty close.
Close. Okay. So I'm just afraid of like losing it all. Like falling off. Okay.
So
going
yeah, you can see
around.
my needles are just staying pretty close together.
Yeah. Going around. Okay. Don't know if this is looking right. So you're gonna have all these stitches onto your other needle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So we're just moving them all over to the other needle.
okay.
And
Then what do you do after that?
you're seeing it gets a little bit thicker. So that's one row. There's 2 rows. There we are with our 2 rows.
Wow, that looks nice.
And then I'd say when you're beginning, I would just count your stitches, make sure that you have the same amount as you did on the first row. And you could keep doing that until you know for sure that you're not dropping any stitches. Because if you do drop a stitch, it'll just cause problems later on. Like
Right.
it just starts to unravel around it.
Okay, so here's one. That one.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh,
I got them all. But like, look at this last one. Looks very.
yeah, it's fine.
It's not tight, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. So there it is.
Look at that. I did that. So is knitting like you're just kind of passing it back and forth every time between your needles?
Yeah, pretty much. So now we're going
Oh.
to move this into our left hand. So we want to keep the side with like the bulk of the yarn in your left hand.
Okay.
And then it's the same thing. So we're going to go through here, wrap around.
Back through the loop
Yeah.
and
And
take
push
it off.
it off the needle.
I'm getting it, you guys. I can make a washcloth.
Yep.
Very tiny washcloth for a doll.
Yeah. That would be cute though.
Would that be cute?
If
Little
you gave
doll
Emma, or
washcloth?
like even like a little doll, like blanket or something. Emma would love it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Is it looking okay? Did I miss
Yeah.
any?
Yeah,
Just
I
a
mean,
little
like I
bit
said,
of
it's not the prettiest right now, but you're getting the steps down right, so
Okay, that's
it's
good.
working out.
That's good.
So your stitches might not all be even and lined up, but
That takes practice.
yeah, that you'll get
Yeah.
with practice.
Yeah.
But for for the most part, you're getting it.
Awesome. I guess I should try crochet again.
Yeah.
Though, will that really confuse me?
No, I think the more you do, like your brain kind of gets a little bit better at this sort of thing.
Because I just
Each time you
recently
do it.
learned embroidery,
Yeah.
which is totally different. But I mean, my brain is like, ooh, yes, let's learn new things, apparently.
And even if you don't keep doing it, I think if you learn it, once you go back to learn it again,
It'll be
it
easier.
comes back a little bit
Okay.
easier.
Okay. Oops. Wrap it around. So then eventually you can get to the point where you don't even have to look at it.
Yeah. Yep. And then you can just sit there,
Watch TV while you do this. I will not be at that point anytime soon.
You know, I love fair isle knitting, which is when you knit designs by changing colors into the yarn.
Oh.
If I was, most of the time if I knit, that's what I'm doing. It's fair
Okay.
isle knitting.
Okay. All right, let's look at this. We're not very
Yeah,
straight, but that looks
it's right.
That's right. Something looks
Yeah,
weird
something
here.
does look weird right there. How many do you have? 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you have 10. So it's just something was loose somewhere.
Yeah.
But you're fine. As long as
Wow.
you still have the same number of stitches.
Look at my washcloth, you guys. For my baby doll. Okay, so then I switch.
Yep. And then
And
you
you just
move
keep
it
doing
over
that
to
forever?
the next hand. Yep. And then you just keep
Then what do you
going
do
on
when
and
you
on and
want
on.
to end it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, I guess I'm not
I will
gonna be there, but you'll be there before I am.
We'll just say I'm there at this row. So let me get to the end of this row, and then I'll show you how to cast off.
Oh.
So casting off, I think, is comparable to crocheting.
Oh. Okay.
That's why I usually say if you want to learn either knitting or crocheting or both, I usually teach people crocheting first because I think you use it a little bit in knitting. I mean, if you're not interested in doing crocheting, I wouldn't learn it just because you might use it a little bit. Just
Right.
start with knitting and learn that. But yeah, if you want to learn both, I say start with crocheting.
Okay.
But I personally like knitting a lot more. I think it
Okay.
has a neater look
Oh.
that I really like. And I feel like I can do more complicated things with it. I mean, there's plenty that you can do with crocheting too, of course, but
So that dinosaur you
Personally,
made, was that crochet or
that was
knitting?
crochet.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So animals and stuff like that, like stuffed animals, is that more crochet?
I see people doing that with crochet more. You can do it with knitting,
Okay.
but yeah, I think that's a little easier with crocheting.
Okay.
Where like sweaters and stockings and gloves and hats.
Clothing
I
things are all
like
gonna be-
that with knitting.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Hmm.
Okay, so say this is the end of my project. I want to cast off. It's the similar type of steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I act like I'm kind of starting to do another row. So going in, wrapping around, pulling it over, and taking it off the needle. And then I'll do the same for this second step. And now's where it changes a little bit. So I take this and I take it over top of this second one here. So now I'm just left with one. So I'll show that again.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would go to do a regular line. So I've got 2 on my right hand needle. Take this one in back, carry it over,
Mm-hmm.
and then I tighten it a bit.
Okay.
And you see now I'm taking off those stitches. So those 2 stitches that used to be right there
Mm-hmm.
aren't there anymore. So again, take it off, go over here, pull this one off of this needle, and then tighten it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be ready for that in like a few days. After my masterpiece is done here. But I never knew that about knitting, that you're actually just kind of moving it from needle to needle.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting.
Yeah. You're
guess
just adding a little loop inside of each of the loops and pushing it to the other needle.
Yeah,
That's basically what you're doing.
that's cool. Oop. Did something weird. Okay.
But yeah, you can start to see how it's coming off of the needle over here.
Still see if I have 10.
Sometimes I'll even just take a crochet hook if I don't want to do this extra knitted part. So like I wanted it ended right there. I'll just take a crochet hook and kind of like loop these under each other. So doing pretty much the same thing. Or I've seen people where they just, I don't like this way, but they'll just take this yarn and go in between each of these loops. But I say I don't like that way because then you just have like these weird little loops on the end.
Okay, so look at this. Looks okay before I start my next one.
Looks good.
Okay. So then I switch hands and just keep going
Yeah.
until you feel like it's big enough, and then you just cast off.
Yep.
Look at me, I'm using terms. Cast on, cast off.
So this is your basic knit stitch.
Oh, there's more stitches.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
This is basic stitch number 1.
Oh dear. I forgot that there'd be more.
I mean, there's a lot more. I'd say if you're ready for another stitch, the next stitch you should learn is the purl.
Purl.
Knit
Okay.
and purl.
Okay.
And that's a stitch that gets used a lot in a lot of other stitches.
Okay.
So a lot of stitches are made up of knits and purls.
Okay.
So
Good. So this is the basic stitch.
this is the basic.
It's just called that.
Just a
Basic?
knit.
Just a knit.
Yep, this is a knit.
Okay, so maybe after I'm done with this line, you can show me the purl.
Okay. And just finish the end over here.
So after you cast off like that, then you do like tie the end?
Yep.
Or...
So then here it is, cast off.
Okay.
And then if you hand me the scissors.
I don't want to let go of this.
I'll just grab them.
I don't want to drop them.
So then what I do is I'll cut off my tail And I'll take this and put it through the loop and tighten it. And there it is.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, typically you have a lot more rows in between your cast on and cast off, but just for example, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll cast on some more and show you a quick purl.
Just sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Purl stitch. Is it complicated?
No.
Okay.
It's just you're working from the front side. That makes sense.
Nope.
If you know how to knit, you can purl. Learn how to purl.
Okay.
Just cast on. I'll do 10.
Okay. Look at that. I'm so proud of myself. What is that, like 3 lines? 2? 3? How many times have I done this?
I feel like it's been
4?
more than 3. Yeah, it might be 4.
Look at that. It's a little mini washcloth. Super mini.
Okay. So,
Purl.
how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so to purl. Instead of my working yarn being in the front or in the back, like how it has been for knitting, I want to pull it to the front.
Okay, so just like this?
Yeah, it'll get held up there easier once we get our first stitch in.
Okay.
So same way as going in, so we just want to go around this front loop, but instead of taking it to the back, we want to take it to the front.
Okay, front.
Loop around.
Do I loop around the same way?
Either way.
Okay.
And pull it through.
Pull it through where? Here?
Yep. And take it off. Yep. So go in through the front, loop around, take it off.
I feel like I did something wrong.
Do you still have the same amount of stitches?
I don't know.
And just keep going with it.
Okay, so I
go with
go through.
So see the angle at which I'm going through the front?
Through the front.
You're going at a different angle. You see how... Yeah, there.
Oh, that's what. Okay. And go around.
Go around. And then take it off the needle.
Under here. And off the needle.
Yep. Loop around. Off the needle.
Whoa. Oh no, I just what?
Try to get them back on.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, if you lose your loops from your needle, just try to get them back on as quickly as you can.
Without moving.
Yeah. So the thing with doing a row of purl, to be able to see it, you have to do the following row knit.
Oh.
So you knit a row, you purl a row. If you purl every row, it
You
looks
won't see
it looks the same as if you knit every row.
Oh.
So I'm just going to knit this
Show
row.
me again where. Okay, I'm through the. And I go around.
So this yarn. Oh, here, take
What
that,
am I
take
doing?
that out.
This?
Yeah, this needs to be in the front.
Okay. So I'm going through this. I'm wrapping around. Where am I going back out? Through here?
Through there, yep.
And then this comes out.
So you're just not grabbing the... Here, take that out. Just that whole stitch. Oh, no! You're not grabbing this whole yarn.
Oh.
You're just going in through fragments of it. Okay, so stick it in.
Go around.
Okay, so there was my knit row. Now I'll go back to my purl row.
And take it off. So I have no idea if I'm doing this right until I do the next row.
Yeah.
Around, back through, and take off. And through the stitch. Wrap around. And off. Whoa. I keep sliding off my stitches. Ooh. Okay, now I don't know what happened here. Oh, I went in the back, that's why. Ooh. I'm so used to going to behind it that like I was doing that again without thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so there I finished my knit row. I want to get do a couple rows just so you can start to see the different pattern on it.
That'd be helpful.
So you can compare the difference between the knit stitch and the purl.
I knew I should have, but I didn't.
So this row I'm going back to the purl. So this is my third row. First row I did purl, second knit, third row purl. Let's see if you can start to, yeah, you can see it. See how it's making little V's?
No.
I'll do one more row. And now, because this is my fourth row, I am just doing a regular knit.
You're so fast.
Okay, so now, okay, so there's the purl. Oh, it's blurry. Okay. There's the purl, and you see all those V's? Compared to this, which has more of like the waves. So this side has V's, where this side, and this would be the back side, has the tighter waves.
Okay.
So when you're doing your just regular knit every row, each row you get, it goes every other. So there's a row of waves, and then inside of here, it's a row of V's.
Ah.
So you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So switching back and forth and doing a knit and a purl
So you
gives
get a nice
you like
pattern.
a flatter look.
Oh, okay.
So then you can either choose if you want the V's in the front, which is usually what people go for, or the tighter waves
Okay.
compared to that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I just learned how to knit today. Don't know if I will cast off anytime soon. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But look at this little guy.
Yeah.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah. So hopefully this gives you some tips on at least getting started. Like I said, it just takes practice. Just keep going with it. It does get a little frustrating in the beginning, but you just keep going with
Just
it
keep going.
and then see how it
Don't
looks.
give up.
Yeah, don't give up. And your first project will
Be miniature,
likely not be good.
miniature doll
So
washcloth.
just keep that in mind. And your first project is practice. And usually after you finish your first project, you've got it, and you can make beautiful things after that.
I want to make a scarf.
Yeah, scarves are cool.
Think I can make one by winter time, maybe? Fall,
Well,
winter.
you've been embroidering a lot lately,
I
so
know.
if you just switch to knitting or crocheting, then sure.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Hopefully we inspired you. You can try knitting if you haven't done so already. Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tag
And-
us in your projects.
Yeah.
We like to see what you're working on.
And we'll see you back next week.
Bye.
Bye.